So again, we have here Jason Brownlow, right? Josh Brownlow. Hey, Jason.
That's all right.
And you're a student at Baylor University.
Yes, sir.
Master's degree student?
A PhD.
PhD, okay.
Yes, sir.
And what's your PhD going to be in?
Geology.
Study of the earth.
Yes, sir.
And your project here, what you were presenting to the board, could you bring it down a little bit more in layman's terms? Because, you know, not everyone has the geology background or the oil and natural gas background that one would need to really get into the finer points of that. Could you bring it down into layman's terms as to what you're trying to accomplish?
Sure. So this is, why don't I just tell you a little bit about the project? Is that better?
Yes, go ahead, yes.
Okay, all right. So this project is sponsored by 2 groundwater conservation districts here in South Texas. And that is the Evergreen Underground Water Conservation District, which is where we are today,
yes.
And then the Winter Garden Groundwater Conservation District. And both these districts, I can't thank these guys enough, because the research would just, like, honestly, the research would not be possible without the groundwater districts, and so that's a huge part of this, and I've been really grateful to them. And this is just, this entire project is focused on evaluating any potential pathways from very, very deep to very, very shallow depths. And we're doing that a number of ways.
And these are pathways for contamination, right?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say contamination has a very different connotation to it compared to what we're studying. We're not. It's not necessary. We're not interested really in contamination. We're just interested in a fluid transport. Is that better? It's not a because contamination has a strict legal definition. I mean, that's.
So when you say fluid transport, are you saying that one type of fluid infiltrating another type of fluid where it normally wouldn't be?
That's one potential. So it could be 2 similar fluids mixing, or 2 different fluids mixing, and that's...
So the mixing of fluids, more or less.
Mixing of fluids, that's, yes, sir.
Okay. So go on, I'm sorry.
So the whole basis of this project is to examine the different fluids and then where they're going, which would be the mixing. So.
And are we looking at, with the different fluids and where they're going, are we looking at any kind of dangers that could be posed to the groundwater or to the public, immediate or long term?
That would be one part of the study, is to, but I wouldn't say danger, because we don't know. I mean, that's the whole point of the study, is we don't know, and so we're interested in studying it and taking our time and really studying it to make sure that we understand what's going on. And once we understand the process, then we can start making a determination about any sort of risk. And I would probably just, I know I've said this a bunch of times, but it really is very, very important to not sensationalize a very complicated issue, because it is. These are very deep fluids, and everything about these things is complicated. And so it's just very, we don't want to be too simplistic when we're approaching the problem. Is that good?
I see what you're saying. So before you really know the parts and the mechanics of it, you don't want to jump to a conclusion.
That's exactly correct. Yes, sir.
And what kind of depths are we dealing with here?
Well, a lot of the deepest wells have been completed up to 12,000 feet,
surprised by him.
and then
I knew he was good.
these wells can often, I mean, extend all the way to the, I mean, they do extend all the way to the surface. So anywhere between 0 and 12, I know it's pretty long, but anywhere between 0 and 12,000 foot is what we're interested in. In particular, that we're interested in wells that are in the district of these groundwater conservation districts. So 7 counties, including Wilson County and
Yes.
Atascosa County.
Which makes me happy.
Dimmitt, LaSalle, Zavala, Frio.
And then you've got Karnes in there too.
Karnes, sorry. Karnes, that would be 7.
We're doing good.
So, are you looking at it from just the fracking aspect, or are you looking at the drilling for domestic use as well?
I really think
Both.
the softer ball is easier to catch.
So we're interested in the
I don't know if you saw the stats on the came but
all types of wells.
So irrigation as well.
Potentially irrigation wells,
and they were pointing out that since 2007 or something.
injection wells,
The
producing wells.
Anybody in the league. So if they've been doing this a long time.
And how long have you been doing this study?
Somebody said, no,
I started this study, we started looking at this issue about a year ago. And we went to the and talked with the different groundwater districts about what they were interested in and some of the aspects of the study that they wanted to highlight that they thought would be beneficial to the residents of all those counties. But you know, what are some of the most important issues? What is the public concerned with? And you know, what can we do to get, you know, move forward to getting closer to an answer about some of these issues. And so, after that, I guess in the presentation I mentioned the actual study is going to be running from started on contract from October 2014 to May 2016.
Is it just the winter? I'm thinking we're going to see a lot less.
So you've still got a considerable amount of work ahead of you.
Yes, and I think that highlights I mean, we've been working nonstop on this, but I think that kind of highlights the reason why you want to take your time.
Yes.
You really want to evaluate this and make sure you do a good job. Because the importance is to find the right answer and not just any answer.
I said a break-even point. Say if your break-even point's 1 year, 360.
That's a good way to look at it. Find the right answer, not just any answer.
Yes, sir.
So, do you have a hypothesis thus far, being that this is, you know, you're going about the scientific method, of course?
Sure. That's the way that this project is structured, and this might get kind of. The way this project is structured is that there's multiple hypotheses in it because it's kind of a, how should I describe this? Multiple projects into one big project.
They had such a good year last year.
And so we're interested in a couple of, we have a couple of different hypotheses for each project.
Their overhead was.
Yeah, I didn't want to, I mean, yeah.
So it would really be too complex to pin down just one hypothesis to blank the whole thing.
I would think that's fair.
I
would say that's fair.
Yeah.
And some hinge on others, you know, if we can,
What it means is that
if we find some answers, those will change the direction the rest of the more we learn,
the more we know
the
what
more we
questions
can
to ask.
and the more we can focus on the right directions to go.
So right now, you're still in the information gathering stage to where, depending on the information, what you're gathering and how it goes, it could change the whole direction of the project even.
Yes.
It could. I don't know if I'd say. I don't know if I would say the whole direction, but it certainly can change the direction. Yeah. But I think we're still going in a general direction. But exactly which angle we take is going to depend on how the data flesh out.
And I definitely want to make sure we identify you. You are his professor, right?
That's correct.
Well,
And what is your name, sir?
Yelderman, Joe Yelderman, Joeyelderman.
And professor, doctor,
Doctor,
and you're of geology, right?
Geology Department at Baylor University.
What I heard was the Trout Hammer says the Saudis are tired of messing with us about Iran.
Now, is this a group project, or is this just something Mr. Brownlow is taking on himself?
That's what he said.
This is Josh's dissertation work, so it's really his project. He does have not only myself as his sort of advisor, but also a committee of faculty that are working with him and overseeing different parts of the project with him.
That's a break-even point.
Well, I think we're good here, but